Today I'm going to show you how to do your pelvic floor exercises and get started with your pelvic floor exercise program. If your pelvic floor muscles are really weak or if they're not working well, it can be really hard to know if you're doing your pelvic floor exercises correctly, using the correct technique. So these little tips and techniques I'm about to show you will help you get started on your way to getting your pelvic floor strong. Okay, so let's take a look at the pelvis. Here's the female pelvis, sits like there, bony structure. So you've got a pubic bone here at the front of the pelvis and a tailbone at the back. Now your pelvic floor muscles actually sling like a hammock underneath there from front to back. They also sling from side to side between the sit bones. So sometimes it's described as a trampoline. The pelvic floor muscles are described as a trampoline under the pelvis, but that's where they sit. So by strengthening those muscles, you're trying to get these muscles thicker and sitting more supportively and stronger inside your pelvis to help your pelvic floor, pelvic problems, whether it's a prolapse or whether it's continence issues, or you might be trying to relax your pelvic floor muscles if you've got pelvic pain. So that's where those muscles sit, so that they're not outside, they're not your buttocks, so not where you're sitting. They're actually muscles and they're not the inside of your thighs, they're actually inside. And they actually encircle the three pelvic openings. So for women, this is the urethra, or the opening to your urine tube, your vagina, and then the anus. So those three openings, so they're wrapping around and encircling those. So when you're doing your exercises, it's useful to visualize that area underneath your pelvis. So if you're sitting now, you can feel the area between your sit bones, and from front to back, your pelvic floor muscles are in and around that area. Now that's the area we're going to be exercising. So I've got some nice little tricks to help you get started. And the first one is using a towel roll. So I've got a little towel roll here. This is just a towel folded in half and folded in half again. You could use a hand towel at home if you wanted to. And basically you roll it up so it's about a hand circumference around. I'm going to use that like a little saddle. So I'm sitting on a stool here, you could be sitting on a chair at home, and coming up and just sitting, so that I'm actually sitting on that rolled towel, so that I can actually better feel my pelvic openings when I'm sitting on that. If you don't want to sit on a rolled towel, you could sit on a firm armchair or a lounge chair perhaps to feel what's going on, or maybe even a big exercise ball. That could also help. Now in that position, we're going to start to try and identify the little bits of the pelvic floor muscles that are actually encircling, or the parts of the pelvic floor muscles that are encircling your openings. Let's start with in and around the anus, those muscles in and around the back passage or anus. Now, you can try to draw up, and remembering that your pelvic floor contraction feels like a squeeze and inwards lift in and around all your pelvic openings together. So try to squeeze in and around the anal area and lift inside. Can you feel that at home? Try to squeeze and draw inwards and lift and lower back down. Now the muscles around the anus there, those muscles of the external anal sphincter, are part of the pelvic floor. Now move forward to around the vagina, and this can be hard to feel, and try to squeeze and lift inwards in and around the vagina. So try to draw up and try to lower down. You might not be able to lower down, you might feel that it's already gone, and that's okay. The idea at first is to try to see if you can get a feeling of a contraction. Then move forward to in and around the urine tube, or the urethra, or the opening of the urine tube, and try to sense a movement and a squeeze and small inwards lift in and around that urethra. Lower back down and relax and take a breath. Big breath in and out. And now let's try and do all three together. So the back, middle and front, all those openings together, squeezing and lifting inwards. Now try to keep lifting at home, keep lifting if you can, and now lower down slowly and let it all relax. How did you go? Could you feel a movement, or could you not feel much at all? Sometimes if the muscles are really weak, it can be really hard to feel anything happening at all. And initially we'll start on the towel roll or start using another technique. And then you might find that you can get enough strength and the capacity to actually not have to worry about using the towel roll. I'm going to move the towel roll now, and again, we'll do this on a chair. So if you've got a towel roll at home, maybe you can move that to the side and put it down. And I want to just talk you through correct technique. So, correct techniques, some tips to get the most out of your pelvic floor exercises. First of all, sitting tall. So posture needs to be tall. You need to have an inward curve in your lower back. If you're slumped, you won't get nearly as an effective pelvic floor contraction. So inward curve in the lower back is really important. So nice tall posture, tall through your spine, shoulders are back and down. Let's go again. Try to lift and squeeze through your openings. The back, middle and front together, lifting up, squeezing and lifting. Keep lifting and try to keep breathing. Breathe throughout. Now lower down slowly, and relax. Take a deep breath in and out. Things to avoid: not squeezing your buttocks. This is not about your buttocks. This is not about inside your thighs. And this is not about drawing your tummy in strongly either. The other thing to try and avoid is holding your breath. So those 4 things: buttocks, thighs, tummy muscles being drawn in too strongly, and holding your breath. Try to keep your normal, regular breathing throughout. So that's just a little starter on how to get going with your pelvic floor exercises and how to start feeling your pelvic floor muscles at home. Let's review what we've just talked about. We talked about how to locate your pelvic floor and pelvic floor muscles, and we talked about them sitting inside that area in and around where you sit. Then we talked about ways of actually feeling those pelvic floor muscles, and we talked about using a towel roll, to sit on the towel roll to feel your pelvic openings and to feel the action of the pelvic floor muscles. And then finally we talked about getting the right technique and getting the most out of your technique, sitting tall with the inward curve in the lower back and making sure that you're not using the other muscles around the pelvis and mistaking those for the pelvic floor muscles. So if you'd like some more information now to continue with your pelvic floor exercises, check our pelvic floor exercises library and you'll get your information on how now to progress your exercises and make your pelvic floor muscles stronger. Well, that's it for me today. I look forward to exercising with you again soon. Bye for now.